Well, Lord Deben used to be the MP for the area, was a former Environment Secretary and recently stepped down as chair of the UK's Independent Climate Change Committee. Thank you for joining us, Lord Deben. What's your reaction to this announcement?
Well, it's entirely the wrong way of dealing with this. Climate change is very serious. We really do have to get renewable energy onshore, and we should have done it a long time ago. But the way to do it is to take it under the sea and to bring it in where there is already brownfield sites, say Bradwell or Grain, and then you've also got connections closer to where we're going to use the energy. What is proposed here is a nonsense.
So is this a question for you then of wrong project, wrong place?
Well, I'm very strongly opposed to NIMBYism, and if it were the right place, I would support it, even though it were unpopular. The reality is they've not even got their act together. National Grid is a private company, therefore is perfectly able to associate with other companies. At the moment, they don't even know where they would want to bring it on land, because they've all got different ideas. They ought to think again, and I would like to see the independent NESO, that's the new organisation, put together by the previous government, supported by this government, so cross-party. I want them to look at this independently, and I believe that they'll say undersea is actually the most sensible answer, and National Grid should not be going ahead with this on its own.
You mentioned NIMBYism there, and I know a lot of campaigners like you say, look, this is not a question of that at all. But we do need those renewable energy sources, and it needs to come onshore. Climate experts are saying that this should have been done 20 years ago, these type of projects, and that we need to get a move on. You obviously completely support that viewpoint.
Yes, of course. The real question, though, is one of the biggest problems with climate change is that we have destroyed so much of our biodiversity. And Britain has one of the worst records of this in the world. You don't improve the situation by imposing yet more on the biodiversity when you've got a perfectly reasonable alternative. And that's why I strongly support the undersea answer, which is the one that has the least effect on biodiversity and is therefore the most environmentally friendly way of doing these things.
Now, National Grid say there would be very limited construction on the beach. It would only perhaps last 6 months, that construction work, and that there would be minimum construction traffic. So the impact actually is minimal.
Well, that's what National Grid says, but it always says that, if I may say so. And the issue is not about that. The issue is that there is a better way of doing this, which deals with all the problems, because this particular proposal is, as far as I understand it, at the moment, only concerned with bringing into Britain energy from the Netherlands. There are all these offshore wind places which we're going to have to bring on board, and you need to bring them in together. We have to have a coordinated system. Give us a coordinated system, take it under the sea, and we will support it, because we're all absolutely committed to fighting climate change. But that doesn't mean that you do any tomfool idea that a particular private company decides it'd like to do.
OK, Lord Deben, thank you very much for your time this afternoon.
Thank you very much.